Now, I know I've given you quite a heavy package to work on: economics, things, and personal growth. That whole package for tomorrow, this week, this month, this year, long range. So, here's the formula for setting goals. The first step is work on your goals. And I think I have given you plenty to work on. But you have to work. You see, setting goals is plain hard work. It's sweat and toil and labor. I don't want to kid you. Let's tell it like it is. And this is why a lot of people let it slide. They work hard on their job, but they don't work hard on their future. They let the plans for a better future slide. And the work involved here is making plans for your better future. Making plans, the laborious mental and emotional calisthenics of making plans. And a lot of people let that slide. The guy says, yeah, you work where I work. By the time you fight the traffic all the way home, when you get home, it's late, it's dark. You've got to eat, watch a little TV, and get to bed. You can't sit up half the night, plan. And the poor guy's behind on his house note. He's a good worker. The guy's a hard worker. But he's a poor planner, and he's broke. Remember, it's easy to be broke, but a few simple things, practiced every day, you need never be broke again. So, work on your goals. Make your plans. The second step is write them down. You've got to put your goals on paper. You can't keep this whole project in your head. It will disappear like a puff of smoke. So, write it down. One of the best bits of advice I ever got was, make constant companion of paper and pencil. Get it down. Don't miss anything. A recent article in the sports paper shows John Wooden, super coach of the UCLA Bruins. And incidentally, the Bruins have won 11 out of 12 national collegiate basketball championships, 7 in a row. An incredible record. And an incredible coach, John Wooden, master coach. The article says he was taking notes at a recent coaches' convention. Can you imagine John Wooden, master coach, taking notes? Yes, you see, that's how you become master coach. At my recent speech to the Idaho Bankers Convention, I said, gentlemen, master your trade. Now you do that. Write it down and don't miss anything. Now, another reason for writing your goals down, it shows whether or not you're serious. You see, everybody hopes things will get better. Everybody does that. Poor people hope. If hope made you rich, everybody would be wealthy. But I can tell you this now, the future does not get better by hope. It gets better by plan. Unless hope turns into plans and plans into action, it all turns to ashes. My close friend often says, the man who fails to plan is planning to fail. How very true. So don't play the poor man's game. Poor people say, surely somebody will think of something to help us. The president will think of something. The union leaders will come up with something. The bankers and the economists, what are they getting those big salaries for? They're bound to think of something to help us. Surely somebody will think of something. See, that's the way poor people talk. It's called the language of the poor. Whatever you do, don't fall into that trap. Here's the best help anyway. It's self-help. Learn to help yourself. Someone once said, I kept looking around for a helping hand, and I found one at the end of my arm. See, that's the one. And if you find the other one, with both of them, you might get rich. So the best plans are your own plans. Get serious. What if the best brains in the country find a way to lower the interest rate from 10% down to, say, 8%? Are you okay now? Is everything fine? What if the best brains in the country find a way to slow down inflation from, let's say, 6% a year down to 3% a year? Are you okay now? Is everything all right? See, the best brains in the country can work on the economy until it works perfectly, and it will only help your life fractionally. If you want to make major changes, you've got to make those plans. They aren't working out in Washington, D.C. on how to triple your income. Honest. They don't work on the biggies out there. One of the big ones right now is an extra personal deduction on your income tax. But don't get your hopes up. They've got to vote yet. Now, I'm not trying to put that down. I'm trying to put it in perspective. It means this: everyone else working on your better future will help you fractionally. If you want major changes, you've got to make those plans. And I'll tell you what, if you don't get busy on your better plans for your better future, I'll tell you what, you'll probably always fit into somebody else's plan. And I'll tell you what somebody else may have planned for you: a skinny income, an empty bank account, and a flat purse. Congratulations. You might say, well, I don't like those plans. Then will you please make some plans of your own? I know the traffic's heavy and you get home late, but gosh, it's your life. So get your plans going. Now, the third step in setting goals is the size of your goals. The size and kind of goals you have is very important because size determines effect. The effect it has on you. Remember, whatever you're going for affects you. You see, your goals affect you. Your goals affect your handshake. They affect your smile. Your goals affect your conversation. They affect your attitude, your personality. Remember, the 16 hours you're awake, you are being constantly affected by your goals, whatever they are. They affect your presentation. They affect your income. Now, some people have goals, but they have such lousy goals, those goals have a poor effect. I asked a man one time what his goals were for the month, and he said, if I could just scrape up enough money to pay these lousy bills. Hey, that was his goal for the whole month. He had no list. You could have searched his car, no list. Searched his house, not one list. Look in his wallet, no list, nothing. Now, I'm not saying that isn't a goal. It is. But it's such a poor goal, it has a poor effect. It was affecting him poor. See, you don't jump out of bed on Monday morning and say, oh boy, another chance to get out and scrape up the money to pay my lousy bills. See, you don't do that. You'd probably say something like, oh no, not another Monday. Remember, poor goals have a poor effect. Now, 2 points are important here. The first one is, decide what you want. You have to get past that. My first encounter on this subject was simple. The man said, first decide exactly what you want, and then write it down. I said, is that it? I don't have to borrow a bunch of money or anything like that? He said, no. The simple beginning of success is decide exactly what you want and write it down. I said, "You're kidding." He said, "No, just believe what I tell you." I said, "That's got to be great. I'm willing to try that." In fact, I was willing at that point to try most anything to cure my poverty. So, I grabbed a piece of paper, and I got a pencil, and sat down, and I made a very important discovery. I found out I didn't know exactly what I wanted. I looked up and said, I really haven't given this much thought. And he smiled and said, "I know that. It wouldn't be hard to guess your bank balance. So, first, give it some thought. Decide. Then second, decide on the size." The question now is, how big should your goals be? Answer, big enough to turn you on. Big enough to drive you. Big enough to motivate you. Big enough to light your wick. Get you moving. That's how big they ought to be. If they're not that big, change them. You don't have to keep the same goals. You can keep the same job, but work for better reasons. And then there's an Old Testament phrase that says, without a vision, people perish. They die. They shrivel up to nothing. Unless a man has an objective, a dream, a plan, a goal, he dies. His spirit dies. His excitement dies. His vitality dies. His ambition dies. And remember, he may die at 30, not get buried till 60. Don't let that happen to you. Get a vision. Get a dream. Get a goal. And don't worry so much about the how to get it. Remember, what you want is number one, most important. The how comes second. Here is something exciting to learn, and that is, the bigger and the stronger the want, the easier the how. Remember, a man can do the most amazing things if he has amazing things to do. He's not going to do amazing things unless he has something that's important and meaningful. The guy says, "Well, I just don't see how I could learn it." Of course, he doesn't see how he could learn it. It isn't that important. He isn't on fire. He needs more reasons, better reasons, bigger reasons, more exciting reasons, more important reasons. All kinds of untapped abilities are usually waiting for bigger, more challenging reasons. So, get a strong reason. What if I had a $5,000 check waiting for you tomorrow night if you brought 20 prospects to my house? You say, "I'll be there with the 20. With that kind of money, who couldn't?" See, you could. Ability? It's triggered and nourished by strong enough reasons. Without good reasons, ability sleeps. The man says, "You make it worth my while and see what I can do." I know that. What I want you to learn to do is make it worth your own while. Don't keep sitting around waiting for someone to come by and make it worth your while. What if nobody shows up? Are you going to sit there and live on crumbs? Start working on your goals if nobody shows up. And make them important. Make them exciting. Take the small ones first, and then work right on up to the bigger ones. But don't delay. Start today. And get the whole family in on it. Get together with your wife, your husband, your children. Everybody needs a list and pictures, and talk about it every day. Hey, remember, kids can do remarkable things if they have remarkable things to do. Talked about daily. And I might add this. if you don't give kids something remarkable to do, no telling what they'll do. So you leave. You get serious. One more question here is, how do you set better goals? About the best advice I can give you on this is, get around where it's better and let something hit you. You see, we all operate by inspiration. We see something, and the first time we say, wow. We see it the second time, and we say, isn't that something? And then we see it the third time, and we're apt to say, I've got to have one. So, get around where it's better. Don't take the shabby shortcut home every day just to save 15 minutes. You don't get inspired driving by the city dump, so don't go that way. Hey, take an extra 15 minutes every day and go the long way home if you have to. Drive by those $100,000 homes. They don't rope off the street right. You can drive right by. And remember, if you drive by there often enough, you're liable to have one. The first day you drive by, you see the gardener out there trimming the beautiful lawn. The next day you drive by and there's the upstairs maid washing the windows. The next time you drive by, you see the downstairs maid shaking the dust mop out the back door. The next time you drive by, you see the truck parked out in the driveway and the pool man is in the beautiful backyard taking care of the swimming pool. Finally, another day you drive by and you see both the man and the lady of the house in the front yard talking, picking some flowers, and you can't resist any longer. And you stop. And you walk up and introduce yourself and you say, I've been admiring your beautiful home for a long time. And would it be asking too much to show me through? They both say, no problem, we'd be glad to. So in you go, take the tour all through, and sure enough, it's just as beautiful inside as outside. That night, on the way home, you say, I've got to have a house just like that. So, now you've got to have one. See how that works? And that $100,000 home, no telling what ability and energy and ingenuity it might trigger. Now, to finish up on goals, let me give you a Bible philosophy that teaches how to get what you want. It's a simple statement that says in a few words what I've been trying to say for about the last 30 minutes. Whatever you want, a new car, more money, better job, better things, more to give, more to share, whatever. Now, I'm an amateur on the Bible, but I can quote it, and here's what it says. It says, ask. That's it. Ask. That's the key word for success for the future. Ask. If a man is going to learn one art in life extremely well, in my opinion, it ought to be the art of asking. Now, just what does ask mean? For me, it means make good plans. Make good plans for what you want. That's asking. And the equation is fabulous. It says, ask and what? You shall receive. Isn't that almost unbelievable? Ask and you'll receive. The guy says, yeah, but you work where I work. By the time you struggle home on the freeway, it's late. It's dark. You've got to eat a bite of supper and get to bed. You can't sit up half the night, ask. And this guy's behind on his bills. Remember, he's a good worker. He really is. But he's a poor asker, a poor planner, and he's broke. So remember, receiving is not the problem. There's plenty. The problem is not asking, not making good plans. Hey, receiving is like the ocean. There's plenty. But some people go to the ocean with a teaspoon. Have you got that picture? Hey, make some better plans and trade your teaspoon for at least a bucket. Get down to the ocean with a bucket. And why not, in view of the size of the ocean? And I might add this. You'll look better down there at the ocean with a bucket instead of a teaspoon. Somebody once said, make no small plans, for they have no magic to stir men's blood. So, ask. Now, there are two ways to ask. Number one, ask with intelligence. The Bible phrase didn't say ask intelligently, but I'm sure it meant that. Don't mumble. You don't get anything by mumbling. Ask clearly. Define. Describe. Design exactly what you want. Intelligent asking means how wide, how high, how much, how long, how soon, when, what size, what color, what model, what year. You don't know? Then you'll probably have to settle for crumbs. You'll get what's left. What if you called the contractor that was going to build your house, and you said, John, we're ready to start on the house. Let's build it about 75 to 100 feet long. Now, could you build a house about 75 to 100 feet long? The answer is no. Of course not. As long as your plans are that fuzzy, it'll never get built. And remember, some people's plans for their better future are just about that fuzzy. They don't really know. And somebody once said, if you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? You won't even know when to celebrate. Here's a guy, 50 years old, and he's never had a party. He's never won nothing. My friend often says, that poor man is never winning, never losing, just walking that long gray road of mediocrity day after day. So, ask with intelligence. The second way to ask is ask with faith. Faith like a child. And that means believe you can get it. Faith is the childish part. Plans is the adult part. Put the two together, and you have an unbeatable combination for lasting success. Now, I've got to add one more thing to setting goals. I don't want to give you any false signals about being successful. We've been talking about how to get what you want, but I have to add this. You won't get everything you want. Those happen to be the facts. It just hasn't been set up that way. I never met a person who got everything they wanted. Remember, nobody bats 1,000. So, you won't get everything you want, but You have to want everything you get. You have to want it bad enough to plan for it, work for it, and believe in it. But let me quickly add this so you won't get discouraged. To make your life an unbelievable adventure in achievement, you don't have to get everything you want. Remember, to be a winner, you don't have to win every game. To be a champion, you don't have to win them all. The best baseball players in the history of baseball, their names are in the Hall of Fame. They call them superstars. The best batting averages in the history of baseball among the superstars is 400. Remember, the best superstars bat 400, not 1,000, 400. That means that during their career, when they went up to bat 10 times in a row, they were always out an average of 6 times out of 10. Superstars are always out 6 times out of 10. So to be a champion, a winner, here are 2 key steps to remember. Number 1, always play the game. Always take your turn at bat. Never miss. With 102-degree fever, wobble up there and swing. Never miss a game. And always have a game to play. Always have a list for tomorrow. That's the game. Your list. Your plans. Hey, remember this, if you don't have a list for tomorrow, tomorrow night will come and you won't know whether you won or lost. And you'll start walking that long gray road of mediocrity, never winning, never losing, just existing. So, always play the game. Set your goals. Get some objectives. Always. Daily. And number 2, always think you're going to win. You say, that's childish. You can't win every time. That's right. You can't win every time, but you've got to think you're going to win every time. That's the stuff champions are made of. So number 1, always play. And number 2, always believe you will win. Remember, there is no sin in losing. The sin is not trying. And when the final books are added up, let the record show you batted 200. Let it show you batted 400. Let it show your strikeouts. Let it show your home runs. But never let it show that you didn't play. How would you possibly explain that?